Viewers, good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Personal and Family Security and Safety Program on Africa Town Hall Online Television. Personal and Family Security Program is brought to you by Secure Travel and Residence Services Limited. My name is Francis Imeribe and I'm your anchor for today. We are in the period described in the scriptures as perilous times. Security problems worldwide have become very challenging. The security problems in Nigeria has deteriorated completely, and we can no longer guarantee our safety and security and those of our loved ones and assets with daily reports of multiple kidnapping, highway robbery, and invasion of villages by Fulani herdsmen, Torah groups, and other sundry criminal elements. How can a man or woman stay safe and help his or her loved ones and assets to be safe and secure in these times? With technological advancement in the world today, and as indicated by one of our former guests on this program, most of our daily businesses and social activities are being digitalized. And it is envisaged that in the not so distant time, most of human activities would be happening on the internet or the digital world. As the world advances in technology and digital access, so is crime and criminality advancing in that area. Today, both in Nigeria and worldwide, digital criminal activities known as cybercrimes are becoming hydra-headed. Nobody is spared. Individuals, families, corporate organizations, and governments are now under attack 24/7 by cyber criminals known in Nigeria as Yahoo Yahoo or Yahoo boys or girls. Cyber criminals pose both threat to the loss of hard-earned money, life, and other assets that are capable of crippling individuals, families, and corporate organizations and governments. The security of the world or Nigeria is not likely to get better. What then can we do? We at the African Town Hall Online Television, in conjunction with Secure Travel and Residence Services Limited, feel that the only way is to get smarter through constant security awareness education for individuals and continuous security training for security professionals. To help promote this needed security awareness education, to help our viewers, Secure Travel and Residence Services Limited, in conjunction with the African Town Hall Online Television, created the Personal and Family Security and Safety Program, through which we invite security experts to come to our online studios every week on Saturdays at 11 a.m. to share with our viewers tips and strategies to help them stay alive. Most of these records are, interviews are recorded, but most of them are live interviews like the one we have today. The intention is to help the viewing public and their loved ones and assets to stay safe and secure. Today, we are pleased to have a renowned security expert professional, Mr. Victor Okpiri, CPP, to come and share from his wealth of training and experience, tips and strategies to help individuals and families, corporate organizations and governments to mitigate the ever-increasing cybercrime threats in the world today. Mr. Okpiri is a security expert professional with over 16 years of first-class security training and experience in civil, industrial, and cybersecurity. He holds a master's degree in literature and a bachelor's degree in English language. He holds the world's highest certification in security management the Certified Protection Professional CPP, awarded by the American Society for Industrial Security, ASIS International Certification Board. He is a highly motivated security intelligence professional with extensive expertise in security risk management, intelligence, investigation, physical security. Of his 16 years of training and experience in the security space in Nigeria, 14 of those years have been on top security management in both national and corporate security, with outstanding contributions to organizational growth through innovative and intelligence-driven security service. He is currently the Chief Security Officer for Pan-African Capital Holdings Limited, Victoria Land, Lagos. Mr. Okpiri is married with a daughter. Mr. Okpiri, welcome to our studios.
Good morning, Francis. Thanks for having me, and good morning, viewers.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. Well, viewers, we invite you to participate in today's program, where we are checking issues with Mr. Victor Okpiri, who would help us to answer questions. We want you to participate by asking questions and making comments on our chat bar. When we see any of those questions or comments, we'll put them up for Victor to deal with them. Remember, while making your comments, to avoid defamatory and inflammatory remarks. Victor, today we are considering the increasing challenge of cybercrime in the world. Those who are following the EndSARS, end police brutality, and bad governance protests in Nigeria must have heard lots of stories surrounding an ominous group called Anonymous Hacker Squad, who have claimed to have hacked into sensitive government department stores and cyber security systems. Before this time, millions of people in Nigeria, and I believe hundreds of millions of people in the world today, have been attacked by cyber criminals in incidents which had led to loss of billions of dollars, that's in some trillions of naira, lives, assets, and even virtue, as some people have fallen victim of rapists through cyber-generated content. Mr. Okpiri, the question we have faced for you today is, our three previous guests on this program in fact, at one time or the other, they all brought up the issues of cybercrime, and they kept harping on it. And then the news media are agog with reports of cybercrime incidents everywhere. Many universities are now selling a lot of advertisements, inviting people to come and access their degree and certificate programs in cybersecurity. In the opinion, they believe that in the next decade, the world will need over 100 million cybersecurity experts. So the question is, why diffuse? Why diffuse on cybercrime? What is cybercrime itself, and what threats do individuals, families, and corporate organizations and government face today in this genre of crime? And then why do we have so much issues around it at the moment? That's the question we want you, Mr. Victor, to start with today for us.
Okay, thank you, Francis. Cybercrime is any crime that is committed with the use of the computer via the internet. It could be phishing, it could be ID theft, it could be cyber stalking. It ranges various kinds of cybercrime that could be politically motivated, could be financially motivated, and could even be ideologically motivated, just like you mentioned, the anonymous hackers. The first about cybercrime is as a result of advancements in ICT. Everything has become digital. Transactions, social relationships, even spiritual meetings and gatherings are now on the internet. So due to that, assets have become even dematerialized. In those days, you would have to carry a cash up and down when you're traveling, but now you don't need that. With your mobile phone, you can do your transaction, so you don't need huge cash. So because our attention now, everything is online, and especially with the pandemic that just we are just trying to recover from here in Nigeria, people now work from home. Education is done via the internet. Even the mode of worship has changed. So the Holy Book says, "Where your heart is, that is where your treasure. Where your treasure is where your heart is." And because all our attention as humans, due to the advancement in technology and due to the happenings in recent times, especially by the pandemic, everything has gone online, business is online. So assets too have become online. So in the past, if the robber wants to rob, he wants to get money, he would have to carry a gun and look for a victim who is carrying cash and probably traveling from Lagos to Port Harcourt. But you don't need cash anymore due to the digitalization of everything. So it has become unlucrative for people to rob physically. So criminals too have migrated. There's a migration in crime now from physical robbery to robbery on the internet. And this is because crime is an enterprise, and people who do crime think like every other business person. They weigh their options, and when they see that this particular crime is no longer lucrative, they will look for the more lucrative one. In these days, robbery is no longer lucrative. So it is easier for you to go online and make money in huge value or in huge quantum compared to in those days. And also, they also weigh their risk as criminals. They don't, the risk involved in robbery and the risk involved in cybercrime, that of cybercrime is far lower because you have to remain in a remote area and be able to engineer some things to be able to get money. So the possibility or likelihood of being caught is very low. But that is not the same for what used to be the robbery and the rest of them in those days. So we see a migration of threats from the traditional theft and robbery or looting to cyber because that is where the asset now is. There is no way we can deny this fact that the pandemic too has increased that. And so this is the reason why there is so much, in fact, there are more reported incidents of cybercrime than robbery these days. And because people have lost their job, even those who used to be productive in the economy in other ways have decided to take to that form of crime. So that's the reason why we have so much incident of cybercrime. And because that is where crime is driving towards, it's important that we also understand is get this awareness and put up mitigating procedures to help us defeat the crime of the day. So, Francis, I think that what you're doing is a great job. Thank you for this awareness. And aside cybercrime, we also see a spike in kidnapping. Like just I said earlier, that people who do crime are entrepreneurs. Crime is an enterprise. So they do their risk analysis, they do their profit and loss analysis. And those that could not really move into cybercrime, who don't have the intelligence of doing cybercrime, some of them are going into kidnapping. Because if you traditionally, if you look at, if you evaluate the difference between robbery and the other kind of crime, you find out that it is more riskier and it is even less profitable because people no longer keep cash. Organizations no longer keep cash. They are taking cash now. Some organizations keep as low as 20 or 50,000 in their entire organization. So if you take a gun and go to an organization to rob, the time you spend increase your likelihood of being caught, and at the end of the day, you may not get as much. But if you pick a woman being in the car in the next 2 minutes and maybe take you to remote location, you can engineer the family to raise money. So the same way it is with cyber crime, because it has become the more lucrative crime, and it has become the area where all assets are being moved into. Your money now you can transfer via online on your phone. Everything you have is dematerialized now. You can sell your property online. You can sell your car without moving up and down. So that is where the attention is. And because that is where the asset is, the crime also will be there. So that is the reason why we have so much fuss about cyber crime in our time.
Okay. In other words, what I see with that, Victor, is that we cannot stop talking about cybercrime. It has come to be with us, and we need to pay
Not
attention
at
to
all.
it in every sense. Okay, so thank
Exactly.
you. We are so happy you can be with us today to shed light on this. Okay, we would like you to look at another issue for us. Now, people are under threat. Everyone is, but it is not everybody that have the consciousness of what they ought to do, either pray or during an attack. So the question I want to ask you now is, what are the first steps a typical individual, family, corporate organization, and government should take to become aware of and then understand what threats they face from cybercrime and criminal elements? So what steps can people take, or the ordinary people, because this we are not talking about cyber crime security professionals, we are not talking about ICT professionals, we're just talking about the ordinary person, and there may be a government organization or a corporation or a family that wants the assets to remain with them. What steps can they take to become aware of and then understand which risks that they face?
All right. There is a popular saying that if you can't if you can't manage it, if you can't measure it. So the awareness is the first step. The awareness in itself. Everybody. That is why I commend you for having this broadcast. Everybody should be aware that it's no longer business as usual. And there is a lot of information out there on the internet. There's a lot of information out there that you can get from security professionals in your organization or your neighborhood or your religious cycle you belong to. So we have to be aware of this, that there is a threat. We have to accept the fact that there is a serious cyber threat going on now in various forms, not just to you as an individual. The reason why there was so much effect of the recent protest was because the internet was a vehicle that was used to disseminate information, both false and true information that instigated more violence. So the cyber world is of value, but at the same time, a possible threat to the security of humanity. So we must accept the fact that there is a threat, the threat exists, and then be aware that create the awareness. Because in security management, the first step you would want to do is to define the threat. If you do not define the threat, you will not know how to manage the threat. If you don't define the threat, you will not know what mitigating factors or the procedures you put up will be able to mitigate that threat. So the awareness of the existence of that is number one. And of course, there is a lot of information out there. And there should be continuous education. Cybercrime is dynamic. It is evolving. What used to be security yesterday will not be security today, because the cyber criminals are very, very intelligent. So when you put up a defense today, you find a way around it to succeed it. So there has to be continuous education. Educate yourself as an individual, as an organization, educate your staff or your members of the organization, as a religious group or whatever. There should be continuous education. And of course, another thing every individual needs to do is to the cyber security, the most effective way to attain cyber security is procedural. It's not magic. It's not by hiring a professional. It's procedures. If you fail to adhere to those procedures, there is nothing anybody can do. And of course, we as individuals need to have to purchase or download reliable security software. Some organizations already are paying attention to this, and I commend them. They already have a rule, that is now separate from that of the CSO. Even though in most organizations it is the chief security officer that has the responsibility for that. But some organizations, especially the modern ones, now have a chief information security officer. I commend that, and I hope that the software and those that are yet to adhere to that will learn from it and have pay more attention to this, because when Anonymous came on board and started doing some funny things, banks were at alert, and organizations had to raise their security level. If that awareness was not there, I'm sure more hard work would have been done by that acting group. And of course, organizations must also learn to improve if if they have an information asset protection policy, or have one if they don't. An information asset protection policy will help to state clearly the procedures that must be adhered by staff to ensure that the information aspect of the organization is intact and not compromised due to negligence or error by staff or institution by intruders. So it is important that organizations live up to this responsibility of having not just the CSOs. Most CSOs are not really knowledgeable in information security. Solutions that business organizations can help by sponsoring the chief security officers to be involved in information access protection program, learning program, and if the need arises, there should be a role for chief information security officer in every organization. So the process of awareness is continuous. It doesn't have a limit. Like I said, cybercrime is dynamic. You may be secure today, but that security could be defeated tomorrow.
Oh, that is interesting. That is interesting, and it kind of indicates that everyone should, nobody should rest on their oars. The die is cast as far as security issues are concerned, and every one of us need to constantly keep analyzing and assessing ourselves and doing what we can. I had some incident of my own recently, which showed me that you cannot be too careful. That is what I get from here. You can't be too careful, so you need to continuously keep assessing your situation. Well, viewers, this is Personal and Family Security Program on African Town Hall Online Television. And we are working today with Mr. Victor Okpiri, who is an ASIS ASIS International Board Certified Protection Professional. That is the highest security certification in management that anybody can get. He's helping us to unravel some of the issues surrounding the challenges we face in cybersecurity. You can join us in this discussion by asking a question or making a comment on any idea or thought or opinion that you hold. We only ask that when you are making those opinions, you ensure that there are no defamatory statements or no inflammatory statements that will hurt other people. Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Okpiri, what steps can individuals, corporate bodies, organizations, and government take to mitigate the threat of cybercrime? There had to be, the threat is there. We would like our audience to learn some of the different steps they can take. There can be several steps, 100 of them, 20 something of them, but at least one day, one step might save a man or his family, or even an organization or a government agency. So what steps do you know, can you share with people, with viewers, that will help them mitigate this threat?
Okay, I think what we need to do is to share it at the level of the individual, the level of corporate organization, and the level of the government. For the level of the individual, I will take time to do the ABC of information security. But let me start with the government. The government can improve information security by coming up with legislation that will impose responsibility of protecting non-public information. What I mean is that, like in the US, we have the HIPAA, that is Health Insurance Portability and Accounting Act. We also have the Graham Lynch Bliley Act and I think the Privacy Act and all of that. That imposes responsibility on organizations that hold information of individuals and restraining them from releasing such information without the consent of the owner of that information. I don't think that is effective or exists in Nigeria at all. That is why sometimes when people are traveling, they don't want to put their real details on manifest because they feel that information could leak. And of course, it happens that way because there are no such legislations in Nigeria. So until the government comes up with strong laws that will impose responsibility on a corporate organization, not just corporate organization, even individuals, that when I have private information or you have private information about me, you are obliged to keep it a secret until I say otherwise. We've also heard of situations where people are being rumored of having mental problems. I think it's because the medical personnel handling such persons did not handle their personal information well. And this is possible because we don't have such legislation. There should be contract and top laws that will impose responsibility on both individuals and organizations. The government can also come up with a more stringent regulation of the ISS community. What I mean ISS is the information security community, so that's the professional body. We do not have in Nigeria the existence of such strong bodies that regulate professionals in that field. The government can do something about that to improve our information security management. And then at the corporate level, I think I've mentioned a few of them earlier, that organizations should have information security policies that are clearly stated and clearly communicated to all concerned. It's not enough to have a policy that is not known. It's enough, it's good enough that we have policies and that people are aware of these policies and they abide by them. Information assets should be protected by or via the use of a strong information security policy. And of course, organizations can also do periodic risk assessment of their information asset system. Periodic risk assessment will tell you how vulnerable your information asset is at any particular time and what level of mitigation or security measures that are needed at any particular time. It must be periodic. It doesn't end because I said earlier that cybercrime is dynamic. So what used to be security today will be defeated tomorrow. And of course, we have to sustain education and awareness programs. It never ends. Educate. Luckily, this month has been declared by various information security bodies as cyber crime awareness, cyber security awareness month. I think the goal is to increase the awareness by both individuals, organizations, and even government bodies. So it is also important that organizations have a non-disclosure agreement executed by their intended staff, their business partners, their clients and customers. It is necessary because, like I said, we do not have very strong legislation in Nigeria that regulates the use of private information. But for now, an NDA, non-disclosure act, a non-disclosure agreement, can help to reduce unnecessary release of information. In national security, I think we call it what's it called now? Official Secret Act. Official Secret Act that those who have access to official secrets have to abide with. But in corporate bodies can come up with a non-disclosure agreement that as a staff, you want to join the organization, you find that agreement that there are certain information that are classified and sensitive. that should remain within the organization. That even when you are done with the organization, you are left, you are gone, you still keep it a secret because the agreement is binding, the lifetime agreement, or maybe for a very long period of time. So organizations can come up with that, and of course, pay more attention to their information system security. What I mean by that, like I said earlier, the chief security officer role traditionally, most traditional chief security officers traditionally do not look at information asset protection. But that is a very, very vital area because of the times we are in. Like I have analyzed, we do not have much of we are not going to have much of the robberies like in those days. We are going to be having online robberies more. We're going to be having industrial espionage by business organizations. We're going to be having all such internet-based crime and information-based crime. And if the asset protection program of an organization does not take into cognizance this aspect of their assets, then they may be doomed because people like anonymous organizations can just come and bring them at ransom and business will not go on. So it is important that all security professionals uh, update themselves in information security and that organizations also help their chief security officers or the head of the security organization, the body in the organization to be updated in information security. And if the need arises, there could also be, like I said earlier, the role of a chief information security officer. And this program, information security program, should be linked to a very senior role. So the traditional thing in most organizations is that we think security is just something we can do without. So they place that role somewhere very low, and because we are here to appreciate the vastness of security. Traditionally, they would think security is all about guarding, non-guarding, and all of that. But it's gone beyond that. Has a lot to do, and there's no way if you keep a man who is just a supervisor at the gate and expect him to control or to be in charge of information asset protection. It won't work that way. The organization needs to up the game in recognizing the importance of security, that it covers not just physical security. It also has to do with reputational security. If the reputation of a business organization is damaged, it will affect the continuity of that business. It will affect the sustenance of that organization. And I think at the level of the individual, I don't know whether I should, at this point, share with us the ABC of information security or
Yes, I think we can do that.
otherwise I should stop now to take more questions.
Well, I think we
Hello,
can.
Francis?
Let's work on the ABC of um, cyber security or cyber crime so that individuals can know their role. You can go ahead with it.
Okay. The National Cyber Security Awareness Month, which is the month of October, that's why we asked the first about cyber security. That's why we are
Yes.
shouting a lot about it. Yeah, because this is a month for that awareness, and we are doing it very well. Thank you, Mr. Francis. The
Okay.
ABC of information security is for the individual. Now, I'm talking about what government can do and what the business organizations can do. Now, an individual should carry, I can share this with our viewers if they can send a mail to you or to me so they can have it later. But now, remember, I begin from A. A, always properly log out after completion of online transactions. It's very important that you log out, log out. Some of us, we just have the apps on our phone and we don't care because we think the phone is always handy or it's in our hand. So we don't know, you can never tell when the phone will get into the wrong hand. And when you are not logged out, it means that when you get the app, especially the access and then B, be careful what you click. There are a lot of things that pop up online when you're online, especially on social media. If you're not careful, you could click and go the wrong way into a rogueware or malware. What I mean by rogueware, those are softwares that pretend to be security software, but when you download them, they'll be doing something else on your system. And then C, always clear cookies. Clear cookies cookies and delete browsing history at the end of the session and spaces. Clear cookies. How you can do that is that if you're using a Chrome browser, for instance, there are three dots by the top right hand. You click on it. That is the link where which you can clear the cookies. And then D, do not carry your PIN number in wallet. Better memorize them. I know these days people complain that there are too many pins and passwords to memorize. It's better or safer that you find a way around it than to be writing them somewhere. Otherwise, your security can easily be compromised. And then E, enlighten yourself on cyber security like you're doing now. The awareness continues. Go online, learn more. F, follow basic rules of social networking. Follow basic rules of social networking. G, giving out your personal information online is not advisable. We are aware of phishing and all of that, social engineering. There are rogues or there are criminals who want to get information so that they can use that information to access your assets. And then H, help yourself maintain a positive online presence. I, install antivirus. I did say that earlier. Install antivirus, but please do so from a reliable source, not just what pops up anywhere and you think it's security software. No. You can go to Play Store or any of the reliable sources to download or to buy antivirus. Join hands to stop spreading fake news. You know what fake news has done in the recent days that past. You know what fake news is doing in the whole world now. It's a threat to national security. It's a threat to personal security. Okay, keep software up to date. I'm going to explain that a bit later. But the reason why you need to keep your software up to date is that the security, your software have written a code written. And in every code, there are minor errors. And the writers of this code sometimes discover these errors and they update them. That is why once in a while you will see your official network site asking you to update it because they have discovered a loop and they want to cover that. That's why they come up with a new thing that you need to update. So please always update your software. And then L, lock your device when not in use. Lock your device when not in use. And monitor your account for any suspicious activity. Once you observe suspicious activity, take the rightful step to report or quickly change your password. And never believe on forwarded messages. There are a lot of forwarded messages that the sources can hardly even be traced because it has gone through a very long chain. And it is very important that when you are clicking on those forwarded sources, ensure that the site is safe. One of the ways you can know that the site is safe or secure is that the URL, that link that begins with HTTP, has an X after the P. It should be HTTPS before the colon. Then you know that that site is safe, at least a bit. So when you see an HTTP and there is no S on it, you know that it's a danger. Then O, only install apps and software from trusted sources. I said that earlier. And then P, pay extra attention when using public Wi-Fi. So many years ago, I think in 2009, I was browsing via a Wi-Fi and I didn't know what I was doing. Then I had very little knowledge of information security. And before I knew it, I had gone to the point where I was seeing the files and up to the pictures of other people that are using the Wi-Fi. So when you're using the Wi-Fi out of the internet, you have to be careful because it links you and gives an open door to people who can easily break through and come in. And then quarantine unused apps. In fact, better delete them. When you have apps that are on your phone or your system and they are not in use, better you quarantine them or even delete them than keeping them because they will pose a risk for you. And then respect the privacy of others. That's arrow. Respect the privacy of others. And then X, scan any file downloaded from the internet before opening. Your security software will help you do that. And then C, turn on automatic updates for your operating system. Like I said earlier, keep your software up to date. Your operating system needs to be updated. So when there is an update, please don't hesitate to update your security system. And then use strong password with personal acronym. Use strong password, not just letters, not just alphabet, not just numbers. It can be a combination of numbers and alphabets and even special characters. And then Z, verify with whom you are interacting with online. There are a lot of people who will come, especially on social media, and you start to see those who want to date and have a relationship. You must verify who they are. Otherwise, you'll be seeing a picture of a different person and be interacting with a different person. W, watch out for online scams. And X, extra precaution for your online financial transactions. You know, when you're doing transactions, one figure can change a whole lot of amount of money. So if you are double-minded or if you're distracted, don't do transaction. Wait until when you're settled and you have to pay enough attention, you have enough attention for what you're doing before going on to carry out a transaction online. And then why? Your priority on cyber security makes you cyber aware citizen. And then finally, Z or Z, zero participation in dark web. Zero participation in dark web. What we mean by dark web are those websites that these search engines like Google cannot find, they cannot discover. Those are dark webs. You should be careful of them because they are very most likely tools criminals use to access or compromise your device or your information security, information access.
Oh wow, Vic, this is very incisive. This is very incisive, and as you recounted all of them, I remembered an incident in my own life. I think that was 2019. Last year, we traveled to the US, and in the family where we are staying, as soon as I hooked onto their internet, and I needed to download an app on my computer. It seems I clicked on a rogue app, a really bad app. In a few seconds, my computer was taken over, and I just watched the computer helplessly, and all kinds of things were installing in my system, and the speed was so fast. Before I could know it, my computer could not function anymore. So when I called my IT person, he said, back in Nigeria, he said, well, sir, the best thing is for you to shut down that computer, never use it again until you come back, because if that computer is open, they will eat up that computer. So I shut down the computer, and it was a difficult time for me because I'm always on the computer. And then for this period, I had to stay without using my laptop because hey, they have taken it over, and the man says if I continue, the virus they put there will simply ground everything, take over all my files, and then destroy everything. I mean, it was so shocking, which makes it very reasonable that we become careful what we are downloading, and in fact, whichever online access we are using. And I know many airports internationally have a lot of Wi-Fi that is open and free. You know, free things are really not free, and then when they say it's free, is terrible. That's what I used to say. Most free things are really bad because nothing truly is free. Even in Freetown in Sierra Leone, nothing is free. So most of these free Wi-Fi's are dangerous, and we need to be careful about them. What you have shared today is so incisive and touching. But I have experienced a number of them, and I know people who have also experienced the negative side of a number of them. So thank you very much for sharing it, because I believe that even one person will be saved by what you have talked about today. Well, viewers, you are still watching Personal and Family Security and Safety Program on African Town Hall Live Television with Mr. Victor Okpiri, an ASIS International Boss Certified Protection Professional. Personal and Family Security and Safety Program is brought to you by secure travel and residence services, your number one travel and residential security consulting company. You can join us in this discussion by leaving a comment or asking questions which Mr. Okpiri will help us respond to and provide answers as we go. Okay, Mr. Okpiri, what cyber threats? What cyber threats do you consider that individuals and families should concern themselves with today? You know, there are many threats, but there are ones that affect individuals and families most. So, which one do you think families and individuals should concern with themselves with most today?
Yeah, you have just mentioned one, malware or rogueware. Those are some of them are like security software. They pretend to be security software, but when you download them, they remain in your system and compromise your system. So every individual has to be aware of that and take steps not to just click on anything. In fact, don't click anything if you didn't solicit. All these unsolicited offers online is not what you should go for. Don't go for it until you want it yourself. So malware or rogueware, I think, are one of the threats that individuals and families should be very concerned with. Of course, we have phishing, we have ID theft, cyber stalking, and social engineering. Some persons will receive a call from somebody telling you that they are from your bank and they ask you information about you, making you believe that they are genuine. It's a form of social engineering because they want to get more vital information to be able to crack or break your security at that particular time. So what I mean is cyber stalking, social engineering, ID theft, phishing, and of course even hacking. Hacking. Direct goods. There are different ways people hack now. There are those who hack for pleasure. I think this was even more often in those days. There are those who hack for money. There are those who hack for a cause. We call them hacktivists or activism. Like we have the anonymous. They hack to 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 to, advance a particular cause. So an individual has to take steps to be aware where to trust and then to adhere to the procedures, lay down procedures to keep you safe online. ID theft happens when somebody takes over your system or your ID on social media and use it to manipulate maybe your friends or your loved ones so that they can get money or whatever. These are some of the most cyber terrorism that is on national security and activism can also affect individuals. Like we've had recently, I think some of the billionaires in the world, like Bill Gates and was it Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, also had their system or their phones compromised because of their personality in society or whatever. So individuals should be aware of this. They range from phishing, ID theft, cyber stalking, social engineering, activism, hacking, whatever. And must take steps to ensure that we are safe online.
Okay. That is very great. Great. A lot of the time, security experts advise that we limit or pay serious attention to the management of our online presence. Meanwhile, it seems that from the history of cybercrime attacks, especially hacking and identity theft, that the only security from those is absence from the cyber world or staying anonymous online. The question is, can one truly be anonymous online? Should one even do that, given how much the whole world is digitalized today? Should one even do a thing like that? The world is so digitalized today.
And that is almost impossible. I don't think it's possible because there's nothing you will do now that you don't need online presence. I'm aware of some religious leaders who would want to stay offline because they feel that they can be hacked and their personality or their identity be used to steal money from people. But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do because that's the time we are in now. Everything has been digital now. So that if you limit your stay on social media, you still have to go online for your banking. You need an ATM, whatever. You need online banking. If you want to stay away from that, what about the services, the church, churches you attend now and mosque or whatever, prayer meetings going on online? What about the distance work or work from home now? And almost every company is implementing, almost every organization is implementing. There's hardly any way anyone can stay online. The only and the best bet is that we take precautionary measures, preventive measures to stay safe as much as possible. No one is really safe online. There is no security guarantee, at least for now. Because, like I said, our softwares are written, their codes. And when codes are written, there are some errors. There are always marginal errors that are there that will may allow in the future for the criminal to access. You remember, not too long ago, within this year, everybody was going on Zoom for meetings and the rest of that. And then suddenly Zoom went off. I think it was in April or April, July, June. And they had to go off because it was discovered that the security was not good enough. You know that you could actually try your password too many times. And once that door is open for trying password too many times, those who crack those passwords can easily use their software to do that millions of times within seconds. And so security of meetings and networking on Zoom was compromised. And they had to discover that and go back and rewrite it to come up with something better. So constantly, there is insecurity online. And staying away is not the option because everything is done online. You're paying for your flight, you're doing it online. You're paying for school fees, is online. You're registering for your children's school fees, is online. Everything is online. So, in fact, there's nothing anybody can do. Only to try our best to be safe, to stay safe and adhere to the administrative precautionary measures and procedures.
Okay, I think I can see when people talk about Internet of Things, they talk about the cyber world, and then this world we are is a world, and the cyber world is a world. Just like you cannot avoid challenges, both in security and other issues and safety in the real world, so you cannot avoid security challenges in the cyber world. In other words, it's not about running away, but it is about finding strategies, finding awareness, and doing what we are doing today. I mean, because of this, we are so happy to have you shed the great light you're shedding, Victor, on all of that, what is going on. Okay. Well, viewers, we are still on to personal and family security and safety program on the African Town Hall online television. We are working today with Mr. Victor Okpiri, an assist board certified protection professional who is helping us to unravel the strategies and techniques we can use to stay safe. We invite you to join us by asking questions and making comments. We appreciate both your comments and your questions. Every Saturday at 11 a.m. Nigerian time, the African Town Hall online television with Secure Travel and Residence Services Limited will strive to bring a security expert on set to discuss continuing security challenges of the world. The intention is to keep all of us aware, because the only way to escape what is going on is security awareness, not to hide, because we can't really hide. We're already in this world. We can't get out of it alive, but we can do all we can to improve how safe we stay. So we welcome you all the time to join us. As security problem continues to be a challenge all over the world, and as it's seeming as if Nigeria is the hometown town of insecurity, we just have to do what we are doing now, which is to stay aware, study, learn, ask questions, and find experts. Consult with experts. There are security experts now everywhere in Nigeria. Nigeria produces a lot of them who are really good at their trade. People like Victor Berry, and myself. I work for 33 years in the security industry, both civil and industrial. So, and there are a lot more people. We have brought up to 4 guests on this program who are all security experts who are distinguished themselves in several ways. I think Nigerians and the world should be able to trust the security expert professionals we have around to guide us on what we do in these challenging times. Now, Mr. Okpiri, let's consider this. In praise of the book, Cybersecurity and Cyber War, What Everyone Needs to Know, written by P.W. Singer and Alan Friedman, Eric Schmidt, who is the executive chairman of Google, has this to say, and I quote, "In our digital age, the issues of cybersecurity are no longer just for technology crowd. They matter to us all. Whatever you work in, whether you work in business or in politics, the military or the media, or you are simply an ordinary citizen, this is an exceptional, essential read." So, Mr. Schmidt thinks that cybersecurity and cyber war is an essential read. So, considering his comments on this book, what is your take on his statement, and what additional thought can you offer to people who are presently in the attitude of complacency over security issues generally and cybercrime in particular?
Okay, I think I've spoken on this and I'm going to say it again because the awareness has to continue. We can't run away from exposure to cyber risk, but we can take measures and take steps to reduce the risk of cyber crime. The last question I stated clearly that there's nothing, hardly anything we can do today without the internet. Very soon, like you mentioned, the Internet of Things, very soon cars will be running on technology. Very soon, we are not going to be having cashiers in supermarkets. There's going to be automated way of making payments. Very soon, security will be automated. So everything is going that way. We can't deny the fact that we have to face reality. And individuals, you and I, everyone, have to be aware that the only way to be safe in all of this is online. Is by being aware and following the procedures that will keep us safe. If we do not adhere to these, maybe the negligence of one person can compromise a lot of, especially in organizations that are in a network. The negligence of one person that you trust, once that person is attacked, it could lead to a compromise of every other person within that network. So the statement is clear, and it is the fact that in our days, we can't run away from this reality. Cyber crime will continue. In fact, it will increase with the increased joblessness. All the people that lost their job, a good percentage of them would take to cyber crime. All the armed robbers that used to run before, those that have computer knowledge, will move to cyber crime. Those that don't have computer knowledge, the ones that are not educated also, they may go into kidnapping. Things will change. Crime is changing. Terrorism is also changing. So we have cyber terrorism. We have different way of activism now. So the reality is the fact that we can't run away from it, and we must be prepared to face it and face it squarely by first being aware and then staying within the state guidelines as released by those in the information security profession.
Thank you. I mean, that is very helpful. And for someone like the executive chairman of Google, the people at the center of all the cyber business in the world, to say that this is the time for everyone to get to know more about the cyberspace before they go into it makes a lot of sense. Thank you for the counsel you have shared there. Mr. Okpiri, it has been a pleasure being with you in this in-depth discussion on cybercrime and what we can do to be safe from the rapidly increasing activities in this kind of security type. Now, what final thoughts and counsel do you have for the viewing public on the subject matter of cybercrime?
Okay, well, I will just want to advise us to adhere to create 3 basic rules for online safety. Create 3 basic rules for online safety. You can Google that and get it. And the 3 basic rules are: number one, only install software if you went looking for them. What that means is that if I'm online and I see a pop-up advert, download this does that, I shouldn't, because I wasn't looking for it. Because those are the ways the cyber criminals advertise nonsense to us, and we easily download, we say it's free, and then we get into trouble. And then two, update installed applications. And this is because, like I said earlier, vendors send updates to fix security breaches and flaws. Once the code is written, once the program is out, it will take time. Before you know it, it's just a matter of time. The cyber criminal will discover the loopholes, the weakness in that code or software, and then we want to exploit it. So what vendors or sellers of this software do is that from time to time they update. Once they discover that error, they update. Like not too long ago, we heard that Twitter discovered a vulnerability in their system that could allow private information to be stolen through direct messages, and they ask that users should update their app. So you must, as number 2 rule, always update your software. And then finally, number 3, delete apps that are no longer needed. Delete any app. If you have been using an app and you see that it's no longer useful to you for a long time, remove it. Because that weakness that you did not update could become the vulnerable point that the cyber criminals can use to access your device or your information. So that's the 3 basic rules for online safety that everyone should adhere to, that will help us to be safer in the cyber world.
That is incisive. Thank you very much, Victor. We have a comment and then a question. The comment and both the question and comment came from Lawrence Bayo. He said these laid out points will surely help in protecting ourselves. Thanks, Mr. Victor, for these insightful points, and I agree with him totally on this. He has a question. I think you've said something that answered that question, but it might be wise if you can put in a few words to the question he asked. He asked, what are the things to look out for to prevent one from being hacked? What are things to look out for to prevent one from being hacked?
Okay, I think we have been answering the question all along. Number 1 is try to be aware of the risk, and then 2, preventive measures like being safe. We have talked about not clicking unsolicited apps or software, not clicking on unsolicited links or links that are not safe. We have also talked about having security software that can help you. And then we have also talked about when you download anything online, your security device, your security software should be able to screen it before you open it. Because if you do not screen, you can easily fall a prey to these hackers. Once you open, your entire system will be compromised. So I think these are some of the things we can do to help ourselves from the hackers.
Okay, thanks. That is very helpful. That is very helpful. Well, viewers, you have been viewing Personal and Family Security and Safety Program on the African Town Hall Online Television today with Mr. Victor Okpiri, CPP, who has been helping us to unravel some of the hidden things and some of the things we don't understand ourselves about cybersecurity. And Victor, please, thank you very much for being with us. And viewers, the Personal and Family Security and Safety Program will continue to come your way every Saturday at 11 a.m. Nigerian time. We invite you to tune in and to ask questions to help the discussion to become more robust. Until next week, when we come your way again, we anticipate that there will be a watch party on this program immediately after we get off the studios. So if you joined us late and would like to catch up with whatever you missed from the beginning, we invite you to attend to the watch party that will be coming up from my personal page on Facebook, which is Francis Meriwe. And then you'll be able to look at that. Then on Wednesday, next week at 8 p.m., there will be a rebroadcast of this very program. So if you want, after watching it, you like your friends and associates to come to learn more about what Victor has shared with us today, you can catch up full details of a full rebroadcast of this again on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Thank you all for coming. And Victor, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Francis. It's my pleasure.
You're welcome. And goodbye. Okay, well, viewers, we thank you very much for the opportunity to be with you on this program. We invite you to join us next week. Prepare now to get your questions together. All the questions you have, you can send them to us ahead of time. What we want to do is to answer your security questions, and it's all free. You are not charged a couple for doing that. It's just only to come online and be with us and share for free, because we intend to increase our awareness so that people can generally become safe and secure. This is the objective of the African Town Hall Online Television and Secure Travel and Residence Services Limited, your one-stop shop for family, travel, and personal security consultancy. Have a great weekend. Thank you.